Have you ever thought about how school security has changed throughout the years and what has impacted it throughout the years? Today, I'm going to be talking about the Columbine High School shooting. This high school shooting was very important because it changed a lot of rules about schools that still apply to this day, and it was one of the biggest mass shootings in schools at the time. But what really happened? On April 20th, 1999, in Littleton, Colorado, in the Columbine High School, this event took place. The shooters were both in high school, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, who were both 17 and 18 at the time. At first, their idea was to set off a propane bomb in the school's cafeteria at 11:17. But shortly after that attempt did not work, they decided to get guns and started a killing spree in the school. Because of this, 13 people died that day, 12 being students, from freshmen who were just starting their high school experience to seniors who were about to graduate and start their new life, lost their lives that day, as well as one staff member in the school. Now, there are many theories to why they did what they did. One theory is that they were part of the Black Coat Trench Mafia group, who were targeting schools at the time. Another theory was that they were depressed or psychopaths. And another theory, was that they were bullied throughout their high school years and they wanted revenge. But to this day, we never know exactly what their motive was and why they did it, although many people have tried to investigate into this topic. Now, I'm going to be explaining what really changed because of this high school shooting. One main procedure that changed was the police protocol procedures. At the time, these mass shootings were not known of. They were not considered, they were not as important to give a protocol for because it rarely ever happened. So, the police decided to gather their SWAT team and waited outside of the library for 40 minutes. The result of this was many people died in that library that day because of that. And because this happened on this day, the police protocols now are that the SWAT team has to go in small groups. The SWAT team has to go in smaller groups and go into the crime scene as fast as they possibly can. And this one thing changed a lot. Now I'm going to be getting in depth with some other things that changed in schools itself. One thing that changed was how there are now more drills in schools. There are more lockdown drills, shooter drills, and some teachers even teach the students where to hide if this ever happens or how to block the door. And you may find that it is much harder to get into the school building than it was before. Usually now, security has to open the door for you, and all the doors are locked. Some other things that have changed is that in some schools, there are metal detectors that students and staff, or just generally anyone that goes into the building, has to use to detect what they are actually bringing into the school building. Some other things that have changed is that there are logs and check-ins of when that person came into the building. Another thing that changed is that how there are now some panic buttons that are installed in some special classrooms so teachers or students can call 911 by pressing the button. Now, I'm going to be talking about the people who fought for all of this change. One persistent parent who fought for this change was Tom Mauser. He was the father of Daniel Mauser, who died in the shooting. Daniel Mauser was only 15 years old when he died that day. And Tom Mauser has always been persistent in fighting for gun laws in Colorado to change this and make a move about Columbine. Eventually, with all his speeches and research that he did over the past few years, and with which he even quit work for an entire year just to be dedicated to this, he eventually helped create a law in which that stopped the loophole of how the Columbine shooters got their guns in the first place. Another person that tries to make a change to this day is Kaylee Tyner. Kaylee Tyner is used to be a student at the Columbine High School. And although she didn't experience the shooting firsthand, she believes that we can all make a change in school shootings. She believes that if we're persistent, we can all make a change. Now, given all of this about the Columbine shooting and what really took place that day, I want all of you to let this resonate in your head and remember that the shouts and the screams from Columbine can still be heard today. Thank you.